So now we will see the practical implementation of namespaces in C++. So before going into the namespaces, we'll just see how to create a project in C++. Okay, so just go to the file option, okay, and go to new, and okay, click on the project. Then a window will be okay popped up, and just go to the empty project. Okay, so in this, just click on next, and just give a project title. Okay, for example, I am just giving my name, okay, Kirit. And you have to also specify the folder in which you want to create the project in. Okay, so just browse it. I am just okay, I'll just select the drive, that is E. Okay, and I'll just select the folder. I'll just create a new folder. Okay, and the name of the folder is programs. Okay, and we'll just select it. Okay, select the folder, and here it has okay, it has just completed, it has filled the project file name. And this .cpp is the default okay extension of the code block solution file. And we just click on next, and no need to change the default settings. Okay, keep the settings as it is. Just click on finish. So now on the left hand side, you'll just see that inside this okay workspace, my name is there. Okay, it means that a project has been created. Now what we have to do, we have to create the files inside this project. Okay, so now what we have to do, you have to go to okay file, new, and empty file. Okay, so it says that do you want to add this new file into the active project. So just click on to yes, and give the file a name. Okay, so I am just creating a test file, so I'll just give it a name, test.cpp. okay, so this is my source file, so the extension is cpp. I'll just save it. Okay, and just click ok. So inside this, now here you can see a plus sign is there. Okay, so now we'll just click on this plus sign. So there are sources. Okay, it means the source file is present in this particular folder. Okay, so for a source file, that is test.cpp is our source file, and we will just implement our business logic in this source file only. So a hierarchy, a tree has been created inside okay Kirit and source folder, and the file that is contained in this source folder. So in this way you can create a hierarchy. So now I'll just show that how to use namespaces. Okay, how to just you can say create namespaces in C++. So first of all, you have to include the header, that is iostream. Okay, and now what we'll do, we'll just write using namespace std. Okay, so the third is we'll just create a function main. Okay, and we'll just write return 0. Okay, so this is the empty body. Now I haven't called any function, I haven't okay assigned any value to a particular variable. So now my next task is okay, I'll again create an empty file inside this particular folder. So I'll just select new okay empty file, and I'll just say yes, I want to make this empty file inside this. So I'll just name this empty file, I just want to create a header file now. Okay, so I'll just name it as, for example, 1.h. okay, I'll just tell you that why I am doing this. Okay, you'll just okay understand this particular thing. So I'll just save it. So okay, so now you can see that a header option is there. It says that all the header files that I am creating will be inside this headers. Okay, so this header folder will contain all the necessary header files that I am creating. Okay, so that is being created by the user. So my main task is okay, I'll just create a variable. Okay, so if you haven't okay saw my previous lecture, that is the concept that how we are creating the namespaces, so you please see that particular lecture before coming into the practical session. Okay, so I'll just create int x is equal to 10. Okay, a variable has been created of type integer that has been assigned a value 10. Now what I'll do, I'll just create a function void okay disp, and inside this particular function I'll just write a message. Okay, I'll just write a message that India is a great country. Okay, so I've just printed this particular message. Again I want to create, okay, a second header file. Okay, so again I'll just go to file, okay, new, and I'll just select empty file. Okay, I'll just, okay, add this file into my project, and I name this file as 2.h. Okay, so this file will be added into the header section. Okay, so you can see this, that after 1.h this 2.h has been added because it contains .h extension. It is a header file. So again my task is, okay, again I will just create a variable of type integer, and I am giving the same name to this variable as I have given to the previous one. Okay, so it is x, and I'll just give a value 40. Okay, again I'll create a function void disk. I will just create the same function, and inside this I'll write, okay, a different message. Okay, so I'll just write hello world, for example. Okay, so this has been saved. So my main, okay, my main task is, okay, so now what I have to do, I have to link this. Okay, I have to link this particular code, okay, that I have created inside the header files into my main source file. So this is my main source file, that is test.cpp. So I have to link this 1.h and 2.h. so what I'll do, I'll just import this. Okay, so I will just import this, means I'll just made this file available to this. Okay, so all the functions and all the variables must be available to our source file. How they will be available? We have to include them. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll write a statement include. Okay, so now I am not writing angular brackets, I am writing, okay, in quotes. Okay, it means that this is not a standard library. Okay, this library has been created by the programmer. So I'll just write 1.h. so I am just including my header file that I have created. Okay, so it is being created by the user. Okay, so user defined, it is user defined header file. Okay, user defined header file. So if a user is creating a header file, and if a user is creating all the identifiers or all the variables or the functions inside this header files, then we have to include this header file into our source file, so that all these functions, all these variables or all these identifiers must be available to our source file. Okay, so we'll not write angular brackets. Angular brackets are for the standard library. Okay, compiler knows that these functions or these variables or these identifiers are present in the standard library, but here, okay, I am telling the compiler that this is my header file and I am including this header file. Okay, so it will search into my current directory. Okay, into my current directory, that is into create. Okay, in create folder, and inside create folder it will search in that particular header. Okay, that 1.h or 2.h is present in this create folder. So now what I'll do, I'll just also include 2.h. 2.h will also be included here. Okay, so two header files have been included. So now if I write, okay, if I write, for example, disk, so let's see what will happen if I try to build this code. Okay, so now I'll try to build it. Okay, so let's see what will happen. So now it has, okay, it has raised some errors. So it's saying that intx is previously defined and redefinition of disk. It says that we have used, okay, these variables, that is x equal to 40, or we have used the name x, okay, in 1.h, as well as this is present in 2.h. okay, so this x variable is present in 1.h, and it is also present in 2.h. Similarly, this disk is also defined in 1.h and it is also defined in 2.h. So this is an ambiguity. Okay, so there it is a state of ambiguity, for the compiler. Okay, so now the compiler is confused that the disp function is present in both the header files. So which disp function I will call? Okay, I have to call which disp function. This is the state of ambiguity for the compiler, because compiler is working on a certain protocol. Now there are two definitions of the same function. Okay, the name of the function is same. So for compiler it will be not an easy task, okay, to just that I will just compile, I will just take this function from 1.h, or I will just compile it from 2.h. So this is a condition of, okay, confusion. an ambiguity. So now we have to resolve this state. Okay, so we have, how we can resolve this state? We will resolve this state with this condition with the help of the concept of namespaces. So here the namespace will come into the picture. So we have to resolve this. So what we'll do, we will create a separate declarative region that is known as a namespace, in which we will bind all these identifiers, all these function, all these variables. So how we will create a namespace? I will just write the keyword namespace and I will give it a name. So you can give it any name. So I'll just write first. Okay, so after this I will just write this curly brace, and inside this curly brace I will write all the variables or all the functions that I will be using in our program. So this is namespace first. A separate declarative region has been provided for this disk function and for this x variable. In a similar way, I will just create namespace for this 2.h. Okay, so I'll just write namespace, okay, second. So namespace second has been created, and what it will do, it will bind all the identifiers into a particular group. Okay, so now a separate declarative region has been created for this also. So now what I have to do, if I have to call the disp function, so now the disp function will be called with the help of the namespaces. So how it will be called? If I want to call the disp function of 1.h, so what I'll write, okay, the name of the namespace, that is first, okay, followed by scope resolution operator. Okay, and if I write second, okay, and scope resolution operator followed by disp, so it, what will do, it will just call the disp function that is present in 2.h. okay, so I'll just put, okay, cout a new line, so that it will be just printed in the new line, and I'll just now compile this. Okay, so I'll just build it and let's see what will happen. So here you can see that there is no error. Okay, so all the errors have been resolved now. There are no compilation errors. Okay, all the errors have been successfully resolved. Okay, so now what we'll do, we'll just run it. So we'll just execute it, and here you can see the output is India is a great country. Okay, so this India is a great country has been written in, okay, which header file? It is written in 1.h. okay, and in 1.h the first, okay, the first namespace, okay, inside this first namespace we have just written the disp function. It means this is from the first disp, okay, first namespace, that is, it is from the disp of the first, okay, and this hello world is from the disp function of the second namespace, that is the part of the second namespace. So in this way we can use, okay, namespaces that will resolve the name conflict. So here what the name conflict, okay, so here what it has done, name conflict has been resolved. Okay, name conflict has been resolved successfully. So this is the main use of namespaces. Okay, so if you are, okay, working on different modules, and at the same time if you are, okay, keeping the same names to the identifiers or the particular functions, then at the same time you have to keep, okay, when you are just combining all your identifiers, all your header files or all your modules into a single module, then you have to take care of the fact that the compiler should be aware that from which particular file, okay, what function what function needs to be called. Okay, so from which particular module which function needs to be called, and what is the main, okay, what is the name of that function, or is there any name conflict? If there is any condition that the name conflict has been raised, then you have to tell the compiler, okay, because here the compiler is not knowing. Okay, it is the state of ambiguity for the compiler if there are too many functions of the same name from different modules. So you have to tell the compiler with the help of the namespaces. You have to create a different namespaces, or you have to create a different declarative regions in which you will be defining the different variables or the different identifiers or the different functions in order to make compiler, okay, suitable, so that it will call it in a, okay, in a, you can say, justified way. Okay, so that your output will be justified. Okay, so I hope this concept is now clear to you. Okay, so in the subsequent lectures, next lectures, we'll see some more concepts. Okay, so thanks.